Kevin Burke from the Hoop Doctor. I have the privilege of being joined by Miles Simon, former national champ with Arizona and current ESPNU analyst. We'll start right there with the tournament. Miles, how are you enjoying the tournament so far? What's your take?
Always love it. My favorite time of year is March Madness every year. So it's been great to watch. Some great drama. Obviously, kind of historic in the fact that two 15 seeds beat two number two seeds in the first round, which is something that the fans always love to see, are the upsets. But things kind of staying chalk in some sense, with a lot of the top four seeds still alive in the Sweet 16.
Piggybacking on what you just said, do you think by nature of two 15 seeds knocking off two, is that an indication of parity in light of what Butler and VCU and George Mason has done in the past, or are these kind of just random acts of nature, if you will?
Man, it's hard. I think there is great parity in college basketball, but even with parity, you can't expect that a 15 is going to beat a 2. I just don't know how anyone could ever pick that in their bracket. For Duke and Missouri, two teams that had great seasons, to lose to Lehigh and Norfolk State. So it's just, I don't know, man. It's just kind of random, and those teams, obviously, they're underestimating their opponents and not playing as well, and obviously Lehigh and Norfolk State playing at a high level in those matchups.
Who was your Final Four heading in?
Wow. It changed daily, but I have to say I had Kentucky. I switched to Vanderbilt over Syracuse, Carolina, and Missouri.
So you switched to Vanderbilt in light of Fab Melo, I assume?
Yes, I did, and I should have gone with my first instinct and still believed in Syracuse. I didn't, but I'll own up to it and say I did have Vanderbilt going to the Final Four.
And who do you have winning it all?
I had Carolina beating Kentucky, and obviously that was contingent. Now, that has changed with Kendall Marshall, whether he's playing or not playing, or is he going to be, what level can he play at?
Right, and just a perfect segue. Roy Williams is preparing his team to play without Kendall. What are their chances of advancing without the services of their point guard?
Now, I think that they should still beat Ohio and get to the Elite Eight, regardless of Kendall Marshall playing or not. As long as Spillman White or Justin Watts or whoever's running the point guard spot doesn't just turn the ball over 15 or 20 times. Obviously, Ohio has an excellent player, DJ Cooper, who can put up, huge numbers. But then you're talking about facing NC State, the team that gave them some trouble during the season, or Kansas, who has a great point guard in Tyshawn Taylor, who had his best season as a collegiate. Things changed drastically in the Elite Eight. So I don't know. We'll have to see this weekend with what Kendall Marshall's going to be able to do or not do, or if he is even going to play.
So right now, as of this second, with what you know, with the current injuries and in the current climate of the landscape, who's going to win the national championship? Kentucky. Okay.
Best defensive field goal percentage team in the country, arguably the best player in the country, playing at a high level right now. They have to be. They don't have to be. They are the odds-on favorite. I would say probably by 100% of the people.
Yeah, I'm one of those 100%. Speaking of Kentucky, take me down a quick, memory lane trip, if you will, back to '97. Your magical run with Arizona to the national championship. What does it take this time of year? After going through the first weekend of games, take me back. 15 years ago now. What was the mindset of your team? Hey, we got another couple of weekends to go to really mail this home. What's going through these kids' minds right now, or what should be?
Well, it was still one game at a time, and for us, our first game in the Sweet 16 with Kansas was the number one team in the country, and not many people believed that we could beat Kansas. They had Jacques Vaughn, Paul Pierce, Rafe LaFrentz, Scott Pollard, all longtime NBA guys, and for the all-time great Jayhawks, and they had pretty much steamrolled throughout the season. So it was just kind of a one game at a time mentality. kind of like, an underdog mentality, just kind of to go along with what I'm doing with Powerade. No one believed that we could do it. And along with Powerade, kind of like a powering through mentality, that we knew that we could beat them and that they would have to really match up with us, and that we were more problematic maybe for Kansas than Kansas was for us because of our great guard play. And just them being a number one seed, we just had that underdog mentality that we could step up and beat them and continue on and try to win the national championship.
What was your single fondest memory of that run, aside from actually winning it and cutting down the nets? Was there one moment during that stands out to you?
I'll go back to that game. I think that game in the Sweet 16 was kind of the signature moment. I think in the fact that in the newspaper that day, I can still remember there being a headline of it was Kansas and the others, and like that there was no one else playing, or no one else involved in that region. And I think when we came down to like breakfast that morning, you can grab the hotel paper or whatever, the paper in the hotel, and I think kind of everybody read that, and and that was on our minds.
I'm going to put you in a tough position right here. Who was the most talented guy you played with at Arizona?
In my whole career?
We'll make it easier for that championship team in '97, '96-'97 team.
Man, I think everybody on our team I would probably agree that it was Michael Dickerson.
Wow. Okay. Not Bibby, huh?
I would say Michael Dickerson. Michael Dickerson, man. Bibby had a whole package, but Michael Dickerson had one package that you couldn't stop, and he had the sweetest jumper, the best pull-up. He was the strongest guy. He was arguably our best defender. He had great size, and he was a great athlete. In practice, pretty much no one liked to guard him because you couldn't stop him.
Gotcha. Now, you were on the staff under Lute Olson from 2005 to 2008. You've done some coaching here and there. Do you still have that coaching itch? Do you feel like you're going to get back into that anytime soon?
Well, I kind of fulfill that need. I do a lot of personal training for high school through NBA guys, so I kind of get the on-court stuff there. I coach an AAU team. I volunteer at my high school, modern day high school in Santa Ana, and so I kind of get my fill there. But am I against going back to college coaching? I'm not. It just has to be the right opportunity for myself and my family.
So is this breaking news? Miles Simon is putting his hat in the ring for the next available coaching gig?
I wouldn't say that. If someone is to reach out to me, then I'm always willing to listen.
I'm sure about that. And finally, talk about your involvement with Powerade.
Well, as you know, Powerade is the official sports drink of the NCAA championship. This being the 15th anniversary of our Arizona Wildcat National Championship team. As I mentioned before, we're the only team to ever knock off 3 number 1 seeds. And, Powerade just has a great campaign in their Power Through, which celebrates kind of underdogs everywhere, just showing that anything and everything is achievable. Powerade came to me to celebrate this campaign and just showing that the underdog can win it all. Our team just kind of embodied this campaign, our '97 team, because we stuck together, just worked hard, and when no one believed in us, we believed in ourselves.